Good evening. Welcome to the November 19th, 2015 Zoning Board of Appeals. We do have a request of one of the applicants to jump the line, as it were. So I guess we would ask application number 1. Is that okay with you?
Sure.
Okay. Mr. Jensen, is he here? Or his representative?
Yes.
Is that all right with you?
We're ready, yes.
No, I mean, can application number 3 jump ahead of you in line?
Okay.
Okay.
I will print it.
I do have a 9 o'clock in Cohasset I have to be at, as long as I can.
And what application are you on? Oh, 9 o'clock? Don't worry. I have a date with my bed, close to that.
We'll be out of here by now, don't worry.
Yeah, we will, we will. All right, you want to read that, the Coleman application?
Stuart and Susan Coleman, 412 Tilden Road, Scituate, Massachusetts, request a special permit finding under Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 6, to add an attached garage to their non-conforming single-family dwelling. The new garage could be set back less than the required 30-foot setback from Tilden Road at 412 Tilden Road, Scituate.
Okay, that's you? Okay. Oh, you don't know what to do? Well, why don't you just have a seat, introduce yourself for the record so she can get Annie can get your information down, and then tell us what you'd like to, what your application's all about.
My name is Susie Coleman. I live at 412 Tilden, and we own the house that is already non-conforming. Was built in 1847. It sets back about 26 feet from the street, which I know currently they want to be 30. The proposed attached garage would be somewhere between 27 to 28 feet from the street, just because of the way the road curves, so we're looking to get approval for the permit, and I had to come before you first.
Okay. I had a couple of questions. Is there going to be livable space above the garage?
It's going to be storage right now. I mean, maybe down the line in 10, 15 years if my kids have to move back. That's a possibility.
I hope not.
But not at the moment. It's just going to be storage. It's a 2-car garage with storage on top. We have no real storage at this house as it is, so.
Okay. That's not an issue, is it, Neil?
Nope.
Okay. And is there access then from the existing dwelling to the garage?
It will be attached. It'll be the way that there's a porch right now that's going to be demolished, and we're going to put like a mudroom that would attach to the garage.
Okay.
That's a deck in the rear that's going to be removed?
Yeah, the small deck, yes.
Okay.
Oh, the cupola. That's probably really an issue for you, Neil. What about the height of that? Is that an issue?
The height looks fine, yeah. Just 1.5 stories.
I'm sorry?
1.5 story. Are you talking, what are you talking about, the cupola?
Yeah.
No, that's fine.
Okay. So the height of that is not an issue?
No.
Okay. Ed, have any questions or concerns?
I'm just not sure we have a complete packet in terms of a deed showing that the.
Oh, we don't.
I had everything. There were 10 copies of everything that was needed, and it was submitted, everything that was needed.
Do we have a deed in there, Annie? Good catch.
Oh, well,
And the assessor's card, probably, right?
The assessor's card.
Yeah.
She says she has everything, so hopefully it just didn't get copied. Oh, good.
There's the last page.
Okay.
I don't need to see a copy of it, I just need to know that we have it on file.
Yep.
The assessor's card showing the property.
Yep, there it is.
Built earlier.
Does it show
Oh, let me see.
1847, Bill?
1955.
It shows 1847 built.
That having been done, sorry.
No, it's good catch.
Didn't mean to have you have a heart attack.
But as long as we have the information.
Good.
You testified you thought that the setback was something like 26. It's actually, according to the plan, 22.6.
The current houses?
The current.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So you're actually very close to the street, and the addition you're proposing is, at its closest point, 27.7. So it's, I'm sure that it's possible to get it to 30 feet, but you're never going to get the existing house to be 30 feet from the street. So I think the relief you're asking is reasonable. I don't think that you're proposing increases the nonconformity to a detriment to the neighborhood, so I'm comfortable with it.
Thank you.
Do you think it intensifies?
I don't think so.
Because we've had this discussion before, I guess. I think it does. I agree with you, it's not a detriment to the neighborhood, though, so that saves the issue.
I don't
But
think, my argument is I don't think it intensifies based on the way we've found in the past many times.
I just wrestle with this. I'm not sure what intensify means otherwise.
I think in respect to the existing setback at 22.6, it does not intensify that. Again, if you kind of jump back to what the setback should be, we've obviously intensified that. But
Right, I mean, it puts more space, more structure in the area that is supposed to be set back. So that's why I think I think unless somebody, I know we've had this discussion before, but somebody can tell me what intensify means otherwise.
Whether it's
Because I agree,
increase or
it doesn't
same.
increase the nonconformity. The nonconformity is already there, it's 22.6, and this is less than that.
yeah, we're
So-
certainly not increasing the existing nonconformity.
Agree,
but-
agree.
It's adding to it
Getting a little
within the
confused.
setback.
So
I would agree. I mean, I always thought that
So
way.
are we.
Yeah. But having said that, I would agree,
Is there a detriment?
it's not a detriment, as Ed had said, it's, I don't think
The
it
judges
is.
are still trying to figure it out, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even if...
You think it's
No,
an
yeah,
intensification?
It's an extension of a non-conforming setback.
Which intensifies the nonconformity.
It's
Not a
yeah,
whole lot, but-
I think when you look at that Gloucester case, they're entitled to that relief, so.
Because it's not a substantial detriment.
Yes.
Or do we even have to get to that? That's the
Well,
question.
I think if it's an extension that you find intensifies the nonconformity, then you have to make that determination.
Right.
If you find it's not an intensification, which you may find that also.
So that was my question.
Yeah.
What, do you think it's an intensification? You don't want to answer that question.
Make him.
I agree with you. I think we do have to answer the detrimental question.
Right.
If the garage was 30 feet back, we wouldn't
We
have to
wouldn't.
answer it.
Agreed.
Because it wouldn't create any new, and there'd be no argument that it didn't intensify.
Okay.
I think we do have to, in my humble opinion, we do have to answer the detriment question, which it sounds
Okay.
like.
Well,
we
you
have
and I aren't voting on this one, so it's these
There
three
you go.
Not
guys.
increase in non-conforming nature, I think that's the other,
Agree it doesn't increase it,
yeah, it does not increase in
but
non-conforming
I think it
nature. So
intensifies it,
it's
but it's
an
up to these guys.
intensification.
Well, that having been said,
Yeah.
let me, in a friendly way, ask another question. The appearance of the addition is one of the barn attached to the house with an L. I mean, that's very traditional, consistent with the architecture. What prevents you, or is there anything that prevents you from moving it 2.3 feet further
We're
back?
trying to just keep it lined up with the face of the house right now, so it all blends in and matches as if
So this one, this
as
line.
if it were existing the whole time. Architecturally, the architect was trying to just keep it with all in the same lines. I'm not sure what it would do to push it back. I never asked him the question.
And that's really where I come into it from two standpoints. One is, you're going to have there's garage doors there, the cars are going to be parked coming off the street there. You're on Tilden Road. You're going to be, there's no place, the way this is designed, to turn the car around.
Oh, there is. Yeah, we're proposing a driveway that will be wider into our yard.
No, wide enough to get into the garage, no problem. But you're having 30 feet between your garage door and the street is preferable to having 27 feet between the garage door and the street. From a safety standpoint, from a practical use standpoint, that extra 2 feet, it's not significant, but it could be reasonable that it could be of use to you with respect to pulling cars off the street, et cetera. And again, I'm not trying to redesign your project, but simply looking at it as a architecturally different structure than the main house. It isn't as if you're attaching it along that front line. You've got that recess there where the
Yes,
where
that's
the
a family room.
chimney is
Yeah.
and all that.
It's attaching to that side, yeah.
I'm curious as to why it couldn't just pull back and attach at the back and not attach on that end wall.
Well, then it would, I don't think it would line up to be able to get in from where we're gonna demo that porch. I think then we'd have issues of lining up there.
Is your door from going out the back and into the L, or is it going out the side of the family room?
The proposed door into the garage. If we were to move the
Gotta be that way.
garage
Gotta be
2
here,
feet,
going back.
2 feet more into the backyard. One, obviously, it's not going to line up with the face of the house. And then that 2 feet, I don't think I have that space where that deck was going to be, like, I don't think the way that they would be configured now. Because the deck that's there that's going to be demoed will be a mudroom with stairs going into the attic part and then a separate door going into the garage. I don't know if that 2 feet is going to affect my mudroom space because I have a patio back there.
Behind
Behind that little deck is a patio.
So it sounds like what they're doing actually is trying to keep a 24-foot deep
Right.
structure and not interfere with the patio.
Right, I'm trying to do the least amount of
So you're
demo.
what you're trying to do is avoid
Avoid
compromising
demoing
the
something
existing
else.
materials that are-
Right.
that make up
We're
the
trying to
patio.
fit within everything.
Is there a septic system?
No, we're on sewer.
You're on top, okay.
I don't have any problem, I mean, I think there's good reasons to leave it. We've allowed people to build much, much, much closer to the street, which we would have preferred to go back. This is not a big deal to me, one way or the other. I'm pleased to see such a historic house being saved and being improved. It's probably going to just look absolutely gorgeous in the neighborhood, so,
Thank you.
it's great to see it.
I hope so.
Anybody else have any comments or questions?
No, same comment.
Okay.
I'm comfortable with the existing setbacks that they proposed here. I don't think
Okay.
it's gonna, I realize that maybe by kind of trying to grab another 2.5 feet or 2.3 feet, it might make it a little easier on our decision, but I think with the patio in the rear and the alignment with the house in the front that they seem to be trying to achieve with that face, I still think the 27 feet is probably a little more cushion to the roadway is enough to get the cars in and out safely.
I don't question that it's safe, and I'm really not, I'm more concerned with being consistent on how we have done this in the past with respect to, we're looking for relief on the front yard setback. 30 feet is a long distance nowadays. You don't get many 20-foot long cars. When I was a boy, no. But it's just, we usually ask, or I have always asked, why couldn't it go back?
Right.
And I think you've answered that satisfactorily.
Thank you.
All right. Any comments from the audience? Any questions? Okay. Do we have a motion?
Let's see, motion to permit finding under Mass General Law, Chapter 48, Section 6, to add an attached garage to the existing non-conforming single-family dwelling. Thank you. Let's see, as shown in plan, Douglas Bailey dated September 4th, 2015.
And
And
to find that the it's not more substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than the existing.
That it's not substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than the existing setbacks.
Second.
And
Was that a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you.
good luck.
Thank you. You can come over and see it when it's done.
You do have,
Have a party.
once the decision is filed for the 20-day appeal process, you didn't have anything speaking, but just, no, I'm sure Neil will make it clear to you when it's appropriate to issue a building permit and things like that, so.
Oh, and just sort of for the audience to general, we do have 90 days, remind you all, to write our decisions. We endeavor our best to get them done as quickly as possible. Some just don't get done as quicker as others, but we will try to get it done as quickly as we can. And please don't call Annie every other day looking for your decision. But we really do do our best to get them out much faster than that.
Appreciate that. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Annie, who's on that one?
I think it might be me.
Who? John Boy?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you for allowing her to go ahead, and
Thank you very much for that.
Can I make a comment, just a suggestion to help this woman? I think in the motion, the more proper motion would be to identify the extension or enlargement of the non-conformity and then determine that it's substantially not.
thank you, Mike. Don't worry about it. Did fine. The motion was great. Okay, Pondview, no, that's not that one. 579 Country Way. Annie, when you're ready?
Welby Builders LLC, Cohasset, Massachusetts, request a special permit finding in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 6, and/or Section 8, 10.2
Right here.
of the Scituate zoning bylaw to allow existing non-conforming dwelling at 579 Country Way in Scituate.
Okay. Can we just add that, for the record, there has been a revised plan filed tonight dated 11/19/15. A couple things that weren't on the plan initially that have been corrected, so
Is that the same plan on the board, too?
the corrected.
we-
ones-
Yes, all we added to the plan was, we added the gross floor area to the zoning table.
well done.
And you added that there's all upland, I think, or was that on the last one?
That was already there, I believe.
Okay. Okay.
All right, so my name's Steve Hassett, I'm an engineer at Morse Engineering. I'm here today representing Welby Builders. Don Gillespie and Paul Sheeran are here this evening with Welby Builders. And I'm here to present the proposed raise and rebuild of the single-family dwelling at 579 Country Way. In accordance with Section 810.2 of the Scituate zoning bylaw, we're seeking a Chapter 40A, Section 6 finding. The property is an existing 21,735 square foot lot. It's within a Residence 2 zoning district. It's shown as Assessor's Parcels 26-2-50 and 26-2-51. On the lot, there's an existing 729 square foot single-family dwelling. It was built in 1932 per the assessor's records. And the existing lot is non-conforming with regards to lot frontage, lot width, and the side yard setback. The lot has 75.82 feet of frontage. The lot width at the existing structure is 74.34. And the side yard setback to the existing structure is 4.33 feet. We are proposing to remove the existing single-family dwelling and construct a new single-family dwelling, which is approved use within an R2 zoning district. The structure will conform with the front yard, side yard, and rear yard setbacks. And the lot width at the proposed structure will be 74.34 feet, which is what it is now with the existing structure. The gross floor area of the proposed structure will be 2,508 square feet, It's an increase of about 1,800 square feet compared to the existing structure.
What's the percentage increase?
250 roughly.
Yeah, 714. Yeah, about three times. We feel you can approve this proposed raise and rebuild because the proposed building will eliminate the existing nonconformity in regards to the side yard setback, and it will not increase the nonconformities in regards to lot width or lot frontage, and therefore will not be substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood.
Okay.
You have any questions?
No, you're not creating any new nonconformities, and you're eliminating all of those that you can, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Which is just a side yard setback, right?
The side yard we're eliminating, yeah.
Right, right.
No change to frontage or lot width.
Can't do anything about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Ed, have any questions or comments? Are you trying to do the math there?
No, I'm all set.
Okay. Frank?
The applicant is Webb Builders,
Welby Builders, yes.
Welby, I'm sorry. I think we usually ask for some evidence that you're authorized to represent whoever owns the property.
They are here this evening.
Authorize the owner, and I authorize it.
Well, I think you're going to need to, if you could just
We don't know who
send
you are.
it, just put in a letter
Oh, sure.
so we know. Annie will take that. We trust you to do that.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We have a deed, right? No.
The,
Do we have a deed? Yeah.
the applicant.
We do have a deed.
Frank,
Yeah.
the applicant, he actually signed the application. So he is the applicant,
Oh,
and he's usually with his engineer, is that necessary to have a letter?
If he's the owner of record, no.
Huh?
If he's the owner of record, no.
Are you the owner of record?
No,
Oh, okay, is that what you're asking?
that's my point.
I thought you wanted to authorize the engineer.
No, God, no. I want the owner of the property
Take it
authorized,
back. No, you have to.
Welby, that, to do what they're doing.
I'll authorize him if that's what
No, the owner
So
is here to be married now.
The owner, according to the deed, is Marzilli and Dolan.
Marzilli and
And
Dolan.
we have a purchase and sale agreement.
Give that to Annie.
Yeah. You can
That
deduct
will work.
you can white out the, the financial information if you want.
Sure.
But just give that to Annie.
Okay.
And just other clarification, the the garage and the two sheds in the back are going to be removed?
Yep, all the
Two
existing
sheds that are
structures.
non-conforming are also going to...
Correct.
Okay.
All the existing structures are going to be removed.
And is there a septic system on site proposed?
The sewer?
I believe it's,
It's-
no, it's not sewer, we have to perk it, so I think there's I don't know if it's a septic system or a cesspool. Yeah, it's,
Yeah. It will have to be upgraded.
There's a failed septic system on the site right now.
Right, that's
Yes.
so you haven't been to the Board of Health yet for...
no, we haven't designed a system yet, we haven't perked the line yet, we're starting with the ZBA.
But you don't anticipate the building being relocated on the lot at this point for the septic system?
No, we don't.
No, there should be enough room in the front or the back to accommodate a septic system.
Depends on the soil.
Anthony?
No.
Okay. Anybody in the audience have any questions or comments? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was going to ask about, my name's Jim Critchley, I'm in a butter, 585 Country Way,
Okay.
to the right of that lot. And I was going to ask about the location of the septic system, because this property has a failed septic system, which was a big annoyance when it failed. And I wanted to ask what kind of a septic system would be going into this property, and if somebody could tell me where that would be located. I guess that's a question for the builder.
Well, it's really a
More-
question. Board of Health, there'll be a hearing in front of the Board of Health to get it approved, and You get notice for that? Frank used to be on that.
Yeah, as an abutter, you'll get notice, there'll be a Board of Health hearing in which they'll have to present a plan, which will outline what the system is, where it's located, how the lot perked. And so if you have any concerns about that, I suggest you go down the end of the hall and look at their plans before the hearing, or ask any questions of the builder. I'm sure he'd be happy to tell you when they figure that out, but they haven't gotten to that point yet, as I understand it. And I can tell you, it'll be a much better situation, and you'll probably never know or smell anything going forward.
Twice.
Yes.
Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Kathy Downey. I'm on the left-hand side. My concern is the house is going to be moved considerably closer to my home than it is now. And the size of the structure is more than triple the size of what's currently there, and is going to be right on top of my house.
Well, they're certainly within all the zoning setbacks, so.
But the total square footage, the height of the house, is that going to be rather empowering?
We are
I don't know
within,
if there's anything that,
Yeah, no, well, I mean, that's part of the, they certainly, the only reason they're here is because they got too narrow of a piece of property. But they will comply with all the, building requirements in terms of height, et cetera. But, they have 15.5 feet between yours and theirs, and I don't know where your house is located on your lot.
approximately 15,
Yeah,
25 feet.
yeah, so you have 30 feet, so that's as good as it's gonna get. So, it looks like, I'm sure it'll be a much nicer house, too.
Well, I'm sure it'll be a much nicer house, and certainly will be improving the property. I have no question as to that whatsoever. My concern is that I would appreciate greatly if the house could be moved slightly back from where it is, located, projected to be located or slightly forward, so that it wasn't immediately on top of my house.
Right.
Right now, the way it's projected there, it will be right on top of my house.
Right. The only thing I can tell you is if they fit the setbacks, it's basically their discretion at this point, as I see it, because they could slide it up and back, and,
That's what I was referring.
I know.
Slightly back, so that it would not be right on top of my house.
So perhaps you want to, at some point, have a conversation. They may like to do that, and they may choose not to do that.
About that, when the system design dictates water.
Depending on the parking of the property and stuff, that would make it much nicer for me. I mean, I certainly appreciate the fact that you're going to improve this property and stuff, but if it could just not be sitting right on top of me, it would be.
Well, hopefully, you can have a discussion after the rest of the meeting. Does anybody else have any questions or comments? Okay.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
I have one more. On the plan, there are outbuildings that, they're practically on my property. In fact, as they decompose, the shingles falling off the roof wind up in my backyard. So I just wanted to be sure, they really are going away. I understand on the plan, it says they are to be demolished, but that's going to be as part of this project, right? That's not going to be something you're going to do 2 or 3 years down the road, right?
I was actually going to suggest that you put into any decision
That they shall be
that
demolished.
Certainly.
They be
Two
demolished
sheds.
at the time that the main house is being demolished.
That's a,
There's another piece to that, Neil, and that is that I imagine you guys will do a bang-up job with landscaping and so forth, but the way it is right now, I think, I'm sure you've been there, there's a lot of, this used to be like a grandfather contractor's yard, I think. There's a lot of construction debris back there, pipes and hoses and, you name it, a lot of concrete. Granite slabs, they must, each one must weigh a ton,
Yeah, we will clean the entire lot.
That's what I was
I'm not
hoping
saying
you'd
that
say.
we're going to landscape the entire lot, but any debris we will clear out.
You'll be removing a lot of debris, I think, as you pull those buildings down, so it wouldn't make it substantially worse, but it would certainly improve it from my perspective.
Definitely.
yes, Neil.
I was just going to say that the owner has been cited on a number of occasions. The last one was some kids that had almost burned down a shed. And they came down, I had it boarded up, and, finally made contact with them, but they've been difficult to contact. They're in Brockton, so, and they have come in and done some cleanup, but it's kind of a standing order to clean the lot up, so that standing order is going to go away. So I know, you know, just given the nature of it, if you're speccing a house, you're going to clean up the lot.
Right. Okay. All right, do we have a motion?
If I may just, before the motion, ma'am, I'm sorry, your name?
Mine?
Yes,
Kathy Downing?
Mrs. Downing. You had mentioned I overheard you speaking about the plan that was before us. The parcel noted as 26-2-50A is noted as being now or formerly, which is the applicant, the name of the applicant. And Mrs. Downing has referenced the fact that was Lot A in the subdivision plan that was in our packet, which indicates clearly that parcel was to go with what is now the Downing property, so it may be prudent.
Yeah, we can definitely revise the plan to correct that.
I think it would be helpful to revise the plan, because it's just confusing.
Yeah.
Okay. Ed, you want to make a motion? Get all that good stuff in?
Move that the board find that the raise and reconstruction of the pre-existing non-conforming structure on a lot that is non-conforming as to frontage and lot width, and as referenced on the plan dated 11/19/15.
And side setback. And side setback, too, is non-conforming.
Oh, and the side setback non-conforming is, I don't need a special permit.
This is a Gale
This is just a final
situation, I think.
I think it's a Gale.
Is not,
So you don't have to do that even.
I don't know if do that, it's,
It doesn't increase or
it doesn't
intensify.
increase or
yeah.
intensify the nonconformity, and therefore it can be done based on Gale. To further find,
Or create any new nonconformities.
creating any new nonconformities, and to further find that the applicant shall remove the outbuildings present on the lot and indicated to be demolished at the time of the construction, the demolition and construction of the main residence.
And file a PNS. File the PNS.
Oh, then we will receive a PNS indicating the,
And can I just say, in all extraneous construction materials shall be removed. And I think Don would certainly, I'm sure you've seen them.
confident Don will be.
You may be using them to, I think there's some pretty good granite up there.
That's what I heard, granite?
That's right, I know. I have a bathroom counter I would like to replace.
These in your kitchen.
All the landscaping.
Second.
Oh, wait, you know what, I just would, I'd like to, if necessary, make it so that if they want to slide, slide that house any up or down. Oh, and we've got some,
Accept the plan as is, though.
well, this is what I'm seeing, is the whole structure is within the setback.
Right.
And I don't want to, if they find you're doing I want to have something so you have the right to do it. As long as, and maybe it's just, as long as the new structure,
The new structure's going in the building envelope anyway, so it's allowed.
right. So it just is, so we don't have to do it according to the plan, just simply that the new structure is.
Within the building
remains
envelope.
within the building envelope. And it's no more, it has no greater increase than has been proposed.
The side lot lines aren't perfectly parallel, so if you move it forward or backwards, I'm not sure which way, but one of them will affect the lot width.
Well, then we're going to have a
We'll
problem.
move it the other direction.
Yeah,
There's only one direction we can really move it.
there's only one direction. You can move it back and still maintain?
I'm not sure if it's back or forward, they're very close to
It's wider,
parallel.
it's wider. in the
It's
front.
wider in the front,
Yeah.
so if you
Yeah.
go backwards, you're gonna,
So we can move forward.
that's what I mean, if we stop. There, I think we have to to ask them to come back if they moved it.
Well, if, it just can't, it has to be within the
As long
building
as-
envelope, so if you're gonna have to narrow aside, you may have to narrow aside, or you
And as long
can
as
choose to
we-
leave it,
All right, but we can move it front and back as long as that lot width isn't
Correct.
affected.
Right.
as long as you do not go over the lot
Isn't
lines.
decreased, yeah. All right,
And you do not increase it any greater than you have proposed.
right.
From 729 square feet to no greater than 2508 square foot.
Well, even that's not within, I mean, because it's 50-foot frontage lot, we can make any conditions we want, but the existing sideline setback nonconformity is not even in play here, it's being removed.
Correct.
As proposed, they're within the sideline setbacks. The only issue is lot width and frontage.
Correct.
Which
And-
can't change.
Which can't be changed.
Right.
And moving it back, they currently have 1.5 feet. And if I, look at it,
It's going to evaporate pretty quickly.
it'll evaporate fairly quickly, but they could modify the structure. I mean, we don't have a set of building plans with us. This is I don't see any problem with them moving it within the
I don't
building
either.
envelope.
That's
It's
what I'm
not-
trying to say.
yeah.
Yep. Okay. Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Thank you very much.
Annie, whose turn on that one?
You want a plan back? No, I just need it for the meeting.
Ed or Andrew?
I did one last week too, but I'm happy to do this one.
Sure.
I don't care.
I just want to know who.
I'll do it. He can do the next one.
Okay.
He looked ahead.
He looked at,
He looked ahead on me.
okay.
Like picking a jury.
It is.
You gotta see who the next ones are coming in.
That's right. I don't like the look of that one either.
Nice spot over there.
I was picking a jury one time in federal court, and one of the jurors developed, and I'm the only one who could smell, so they're judging
Well, you were the plaintiff, that's what you want.
That was weird. Everybody was going, these judges going, what do you want me to do about it? I said, well, I think you ought to get rid of them. That's what I think you ought to do. Hi. Made what? Oh, from what time? Wow. That's pretty good.
Thank you.
Okay, moving along.
Bond A. Jensen, trustee of 11 Elm Park, Scituate, requests a special permit finding pursuant to section 610.2B of the Scituate zoning bylaw, or for any other relief the board deems necessary and proper to allow the construction of a single-family dwelling on each of the two lots shown as Lot 1 and Lot 2, each of which contains more than 50 feet of frontage, but less than 100 feet of frontage at 7 and 11 Elm Park in Scituate.
Okay, well, I will say I was a little confused by this one, because you look like you're asking us to put houses on property, but these lots have been previously approved by somebody? Or are you asking us to approve the lots?
We're asking you to approve lots 1 and lot 2.
Okay, that's what I thought, that's what I kind of figured.
Now, you might remember, Sarah, a few years ago, lot 2 was approved by the ZBA. Lot 1, excuse me, was approved by the ZBA. It was a 50-foot lot, but that has expired.
Okay, so we approved it, but you never did it?
Correct.
Okay, and
Well, we never built
I'm
that.
wondering if oh, no, we don't need to worry about that. If it's expired, we don't need to look back at that decision
It's
then.
expired, it's been many more than 2 years. How many? Huh?
9.
Yeah, 9 years.
9 years, okay. Okay, so what were you going to make Lot 1 and then leave 2 and 3 intact?
No, we were asking the board to...
No, I know what you're doing now, but I was just kind of curious. It's just a side. What were you going to do 9 years ago?
Correct. They were going to, the plan at that point was to leave Lot 2 and 3 together.
Okay, so now you're back. You want to do Lot 1 and Lot 2, and I see you very cleverly left a little space for Lot 3, a little straw up Lot 3, so you wouldn't get into B2, correct?
No, we did that to eliminate the requirement for a
Common driveway, yeah, that's B2. It's, how wide is that?
2 feet.
Oh, okay. You remember, somebody's got to mow that, right? Okay, so why don't you tell us what you got here, Mike?
Well, with me is Kai Jensen. Kai is the son of Lund Jensen, who is the owner of the property. The property is in trust. He is the trustee. Lund, unfortunately, is in the hospital in the last few days, so Kai is here to be with his father and is with us tonight.
Okay.
And Brendan Sullivan from Carbonaro Consulting is with us. And as the application says, we're asking for 2 50-foot frontage lots under 610-2B. And the property is 11 and 7 Elm Park. They are Assessor's Map number 54, Block 1, parcels 25-0 and 25B. This is in the R2 zoning district. The 2 lots, we are seeking to create over 50 and 50 feet of lot width to the nearest point of where the dwellings will be. One is 60,657 square feet, and one is 40,4057 feet. We have twice the area, it's all uplands.
Do I, and I didn't, did I miss that note on the plans?
Which, no,
A note of being all uplands?
I believe so.
I looked for it, and I just may have missed it. Okay, we're gonna need that added.
We have had the property inspected, and
Okay.
there are no wetlands.
We just need to have it certified on the plan
Yeah.
that it is all uplands.
We can do that.
Okay,
Where the dwellings would be proposed to be constructed, there is 125 feet, excuse me, of lot width. And with that, I'd like to have Brendan, lead you through the plan, and then we can answer any questions.
okay.
Just a quick question to Mike. So it sounds like up where the writing is, Lot 1 and Lot 2, that area is the proposed area with 125-plus lot width is where you're proposing?
Yes, where those
Yeah.
lines are drawn.
Yeah, we need this area here.
Okay.
So as Mike has said, the existing lot is comprised of just over 3 acres, and we're creating the 2 50-foot lots, which have lot frontage greater than 50 feet and a lot width greater than 50 feet from the frontage to the building area. And we're also creating the conforming lot, which contains the existing house, barn, and accessory dwelling, and also the required lot width as well. I think that's about it, really.
The only other thing that I want to mention to the board, and I have copies for the file, is that the house lot, Lot 3, contains the existing dwelling, an existing barn, and a small cottage. We were in front of the planning board last month, and the planning board approved that as an accessory dwelling.
Okay.
So in discussion, consultation with Neil, obviously, we went to the planning board first because we didn't, if this is approved, and then once the Form A is approved, we didn't want to create an illegal lot, which would be the house lot with would be 2 dwellings on one lot, so. While the house lot is not part of this application, I just want to make the board aware that that was our first step in this process, so.
Okay. And you're keeping the 1749 house?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Good.
My mother would be rolling over in her grave.
And we don't want to do that to Mom.
No.
That's good. We see so many of them. We're losing a lot of them in Scituate, and,
It's really, it's a
Yeah.
very attractive property.
yeah.
And that house is under agreement for sale, and it's a person who grew up in Scituate and will be coming back.
I'm always personally happy to see you keep the older houses, so,
It's one of the nicest pieces of property in town.
good. Could you just, how do you spell your name?
My name is spelled K-A-J, and it's
Okay.
pronounced Kai.
Okay. I put a K-A-I.
That's okay.
That's very Japanese.
Most folks spell it that way.
Okay. Okay, well, good. Okay, I don't think I was, like I said, I thought I knew what we were doing. When was the accessory, do we know when the barn and the accessory dwellings were built?
The house was built in the 1740s, as you mentioned. I don't believe we have an exact date on the barn or the cottage. I recall looking at some historical photos, some historical maps. We suspect the barn was probably built in the late 1800s, and the cottage was at one point from a neighbor that grew up in the area that's since passed away, recalled that the cottage was some type of accessory dwelling for farm animals attributed to the barn.
Okay.
So it's the cottage, it was probably the newest structure, but it's still fairly old.
Okay. That was just curiosity.
Yeah.
Anthony? John?
No, just, it sounds like you've got double the required area in each lot, the lot width is there, and just reminded no further subdivisions, but
The
that's,
subdivisions.
that's.
On the
in there.
plan and part of a deed restriction, yeah.
Yeah, and then, just one more time, I think you had mentioned the square footage.
Of the 2 lots?
Yes, not of, all of the lots of the, I guess it doesn't matter as long as they meet the setbacks of the houses.
Right.
You don't have any idea.
The houses to be
Yeah.
built, it's too soon in that process. I mean, right now, the lots, if approved, there are perks, more work needs to be done, but they're being sold or offered as potential builders packages. The Lund family hasn't designed any houses or anything, or gotten septic systems approved yet. That will all be after we're through this process and the planning board on the Form A plan.
That's it for me.
Ed?
No questions. Just to clarify, the concern that you had by going to the planning board regarding the accessory dwelling was simply that there currently are 2 dwellings on this much larger parcel.
Correct.
And you wanted to endorse the fact that the cottage was not a separate dwelling, but an accessory dwelling associated with the main
The
property.
main house and meets all the setbacks in the area.
Mike and I had discussed it too, and he's always had 2 houses on one lot, and it's always been legal. It's just by reducing the size of the lot.
I understand.
Without going the accessory dwelling route to raise the question, but that, I think you would have found in their favor, but I think that.
No, I think it's a good plan.
Ed, Frank?
Yeah, the only thing I don't like is the 2 feet being carved out, but
Well, they
there's
have to,
nothing we can
because
do about it.
because you got, because if you don't, when section 610.2 B2 says, when 2 or more such
Yeah.
50-colored lots are approved at the same time that share a lot line. Then
When they share a lot line, right?
A lot
And I
line.
understand why they're
Yeah.
doing it, and it's
Just
creative.
weird.
And I think this is probably the way these things are configured, it doesn't make sense to have common driveway anyway, so.
It really doesn't, Frank, and the others, I just tell you from my experiences, people don't really want common driveways.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Unless they absolutely positively have no other alternative. there's engineering costs.
I understand that, but the town wants common driveways to minimize the number of entrances on these small
If it was
lots.
off of 3A, you know,
Yep.
this is Elm Park, although it's a public way, it really is a driveway, and,
If you look at the top
It's 20
left-hand
miles an
corner,
hour.
it's inside the horseshoe.
yeah.
Yep.
So it's really not on the main street.
No, as I said, I don't think this,
Yeah.
for this particular lot, it's a problem, but and I'm not sure we have the power to say you can't do that either. So it was just an observation that it's a creative way of circumventing what the town was.
If we were on a Chief Justice Highway or First Parish Road, a country way or something, I think the plan would certainly be different and a common driveway would be more appropriate. But given that, what the Elm Park is, there's no traffic there. The only point of traffic meeting oncoming traffic is at the two ends of Elm Park. So we felt that the driveway for each lot would be the better path.
Fair enough.
Clever engineering.
Very good. Still gonna have a 200-foot driveway.
Probably living there. I'm planting that 2 feet. Okay. All right, do we have I'm sorry, is there anybody in the audience who would like to be heard on this? Yes, sir.
My name is John McCarthy. I live at 82 Greenfield Lane. And the reason I came is I live across the street. And the proposal of breaking that up into 2 lots is definitely going to affect what I see outside the house. And there's no plans for any buildings being put on there, just plans for breaking up the lots.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Correct.
I spoke with, and not like I was looking for anything, it's just people came and talked to me, one being your brother and another, a neighbor. Your brother said that this original lot couldn't be broken up, so I didn't have to be concerned about it. Not that I was, but that's what he offered. About homes being built on the existing lot, on the existing property. And another neighbor who's been there in their 80s, and she said that this issue had come up the first time that the Jensens purchased the property, and that it was put down because of a historical value of the property. You know, the barn and there's not too many places in Scituate now that have this kind of layout.
Yeah.
So I just want to throw that out there. If it was an issue 40 years ago, why is that not an issue now? You know, and why is it being brought up now?
Can I just speak to that real quick? My name is Kim Burns. I'm the realtor associated with this. And I think one of the things that when we initially looked at this land, and if you look at land different than Scituate, there was subdivisions proposed. And what we decided, and the Jensens decided, and historically is decided, that we kept the house, barn, and cottage intact because of its historical significance. So while there is 2 lots, if you look at the land and the way it naturally is divided, it really isn't going to impact.
You talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, I
There's
know.
Pete, there's like this is not a discussion between you guys. If you want to say something to the room as a whole, that's great.
Okay,
As the
I
board.
just think that what we did, keeping the house, barn, and cottage, keeps with the historical society and keeps with the view of what the Jensens had for the property.
Well, you know, I obviously, we don't know what happened, who told you what, whether or not they had any authority, but today, as it exists, there is a bylaw that allows them to do this. It looks like it's probably headed to do this. I, again, think it's great that they have maintained the antique portion, but, you know, that's a lot of land, and Situate's growing, and if people, you know, have a right to do something under our bylaws, they come before this board, and you certainly have a right to, you know, tell us how you feel about it, and, you know.
Well, the bylaws are the bylaws, and
Right.
if this is okay, then it's okay, and if it's
Right.
not, it's not.
Right,
I'm just saying what I was told and what I heard, and
right,
I think,
one of the own brothers even said something,
yeah.
okay?
I think what may be the confusion here, there's a desire frequently on the part of the property owner to maintain a certain character of the land, and they may have expressed a desire, but not necessarily, unless there was a representation that there was a deed restriction that it could never be subdivided or whatever.
I don't know that.
Well, I understand that, but the applicant is not, a deed restriction would be a matter of record. It would be something that the applicant would be unwise to be before us asking to do something, knowing the property and knowing that there was a restriction on the land. Or probably a case of a discussion about what we'd like to see done with it, and at least what the Realtor has represented is that the family continues to have hold this property in a very beloved state. It's important to them. You said it was important to your mother. And I think they've tried to design a plan where they can have the value of the property recognized while maintaining the character. And for you, your view is not going to be dramatically changed other than a couple of driveways that are going to go way up in the back. So
It's going to be changed.
Of course,
I don't have
but
an objection to the
but that's the
change.
nature of life.
Don't take
Whoa.
granted my feelings about both Mr. and Mrs. Gentleman, that they mean well, and I like both of them, and I would not say something or do something to hurt them. I'm just standing here as a citizen, speaking my right, and that's it.
And
if it doesn't work, if what I say is crap, then so be it.
Thank you. I'm
Could I
simply representing
something on the plan, but just, because of the lot width requirement, the houses have to be built way back here. They can't be built up here.
I know that. I saw it.
You know that, okay.
I can see that. And I'm not here to buck anybody. I just came here because I have the right to be here.
And we're glad you're here. I'm always happy to have people come and speak
And
their...
things were said to me that made me concerned.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you being here, and I think it's important.
Democracy.
That's right. You're
Okay.
right. Good. Anybody else?
I just wanted to make sure you're aware of it.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, I just saw it now.
I'd love to see it stay the same too, but nothing stay. I'm happy the original buildings are staying. I live on Greenfield Lane also, so.
I think I see it.
I actually looked at way back when, a house on, right, I don't know which number it was. It wasn't this
No,
one.
you came down by my house.
I lived in an apartment.
Yeah. You know who owned the one I looked at?
I'm gonna wait you when you go by.
The Boston Marathon
Oh,
guy.
Archie Rogers.
Nope.
Will Clooney.
Will Clooney,
Yeah, right,
we
yeah,
looked at his
sure, yeah.
house. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know where that is,
Yeah.
next door to you or something?
Yeah.
So did I, because
I live in
we lived in the Rogers house.
Oh, you live in Archie Rogers' house? Yeah.
So, anyway, all right.
I appreciate you listening, guys.
Yeah, have a nice
It doesn't look like we have the whole deed packet.
Do Annie have a whole
Do we
deed?
have the whole one?
You're right.
Get it corrected now.
Oh, honey, you don't have to bring it up. You got it. Just tell us.
Oh, no worries. Thank you very much.
Do we have a motion? No motion?
Sure. You want me to make a motion?
Sure, please, Frank.
Ready? On the application of Lund Jensen trustee for the creation of two 50-foot lots at 7 and 11 Elm Park, move that the board grant the application for the creation of the two lots in accordance with the plan of Cabanero Consulting dated October 1st, 2022. The filing of an amended plan that certifies that both lots are entirely upland, and further subject to the restriction that there shall be no further subdivisions of either lot as provided in bylaws
Okay.
and the plan. Yes, sir.
Second?
Just one other question on that. We have the original house number now, and as 11.
Both there are
But
two
the-
tax bills. One is
one tax bill's for 7 and one is for 11. The house is known as 11.
Correct.
But
That's lot 3.
the house is lot 3.
But, so lots 1 and 2 do not have house numbers yet?
They do not.
All right, so just so we're not confused in any references.
The reason I, in the application, I said 7 and 11 is because again, there are 2 tax bills that take up varying portions of all 3 lots.
I think when my parents went through this process years ago, when they were thinking about the splitting off the one lot, it went into the tax.
Lot 1 was labeled 7?
I think it went into the tax roll, so they're paying tax kind of separately after that point on the 2 lots.
At some point, you'll be issued house numbers, but,
Correct,
you know.
yes. Yeah.
Okay. Did you second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hope your father.
Yeah, I
does
appreciate
better.
it. He'd rather be here than South Shore Hospital, I can guarantee you
Me
that.
I'm writing that one in.
I might say hi.
Am I writing that one? I'm gonna write that
You're volunteering, yes.
Yeah.
I think I have to write that one.
one. Mike, if you want to put a draft together, I'd appreciate it.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
It looked like an original.
Well, we did, yeah.
Not anymore.
Moving along.
Moving along, right? Okay.
Walden Woods.
Walden Woods.
Appreciate that. My mom's, sorry about that. Yeah. He'll pull through. He's a tough New Englander.
50 million things for this one.
With your mother, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Annie?
Request for modification. Walden Woods LLC requests a modification to the comprehensive permit. The proposed revision is a reduction of the width of the proposed sidewalk from Golden Avenue to Hazel Avenue, and an elimination of the grass strip proposed from the front of the sidewalk to the back of the building at the locations of the aforementioned sidewalk.
Me sit or stand.
Whichever is your preference.
I want to use my visual aid.
Okay.
It is a honor and a privilege to be in front of the Board of Appeals.
Thank you.
My name is Anthony Vito, I'm a civil engineer, the record engineer for the development known as Walden Woods Comprehensive Permit. With me representing Walden Woods LLC is Mr. Paul Morocco. Mr. Paul Morocco has been on-site supervising the construction of the Walden Woods development. I'm here before you tonight to request a minor change to the comprehensive permit, which is basically a couple of changes. The record plan that you see here proposed a sidewalk from Tilden Road to Hazel Ave.
Yes.
Okay? The purpose of that, during the prior ZBA hearing, during the permitting of the project, is to allow public access from outside the development to use this area to walk, to get to the waterfront of Scituate via walking. I mean, the waterfront is down there, but good exercise. Anyway, a sidewalk was proposed along the property, the former property of the Grimes, now owned by Mr. Morocco as well, through the development, a short spur here, on this dead end, and all the way through Stenbeck Place, The previous proposal had, I believe, a 4-foot sidewalk with a bituminous berm along the Grimes, formerly the Grimes property, and then it extended all the way out until we got to these 2 visitor parking spaces here. Then the proposed plan during the permitting process was a 5-foot sidewalk and a 2-foot grass strip, continuing on through the development until it got to Stenbeck Place where the approved plan proposed a 4-foot sidewalk with a grass strip along Stenbeck Place. What Walden Woods is requesting is that we eliminate the grass strip, okay, on both the development and Stenbeck Place, and reduce the sidewalk width from 5 feet to 4 feet within the development. Now, I'd like to tell you a story of one of the reasons that Mr. Morocco is requesting this. Mr. Morocco and I did a development together in another town. And we had pretty much the same thing. We had the grass strip, we had a proposed sidewalk. And when it came time for Mr. Morocco to provide the sidewalk for the development, a number of units were sold. And as I was laying out the back of the sidewalk in front of the sold units, I was just not, pick out a word, confronted, if you will, about the location of the back of sidewalk to each of the units by Mr. Morocco's buyers. So we asked the town, another town, if they had any issues with removing the grass strip to move the sidewalk away from the units. Give them a little bit more lawn space, give them a little bit more privacy. The caveat to this is that the proposed plan proposes Cape Cod berm, which is a little 3-inch berm, sloped up. With the recommendation of Amory Engineering, which is the board's engineer on the project, Mr. Morocco is also requesting that the Cape Cod berm be revised to a 6-inch bituminous berm, which will, I believe you may have a detail in your package that shows this. This will add safety because of the sidewalk's proximity to the travel way. So rather than having small 3-inch berms in front of the sidewalk backing into it, eliminating the 2-foot strip, we feel it's a safe trade-off. Get rid of the 2-foot strip grass, get the sidewalks away from the units, give the homeowners a bit more lawn to play with, a little bit more privacy, since, you know, we're opening up the development, a lot of gated communities, so we're opening up the development for, you know, other people from Scituate to walk through on their way to the water. This would be a benefit to the town to grant these changes. Questions?
Well, I have a lot of questions. Okay, so where on the plans, because this plan that you provided dated October 30th, 2015, does not show details of the, I mean, of the original layout. I mean, of the sidewalk, the width of the sidewalk, that it changes.
Well, you'd have to go to the, did I provide in the package the CLC that
You did, but I'm sorry, that number, some of it I can't read, and some of it I just don't know what I'm looking at.
There's a problem. I had made prints of this off of Registry of Deeds website. So you can
That's why the clarity's a little off.
The clarity's a little off. You can kind of make out a 4 here. Now, there is another benefit to the homeowners on Stenbeck Place with the reduction and the removal of the grass strip. Some of the owners have built in the Stenbeck right-of-way. Fence posts, picket fence, some landscaping. Mr. Morocco would like to limit the amount of disturbance to the neighbors when he puts his sidewalks in. We specifically, the resident at the corner, say the southeast corner of Stenbeck and Hazel, there was a fence with some landscaping behind it. If we were not to grant the change, Mr. Morocco would have to move their fence, replant their landscaping, and put in the sidewalk. Okay, you can move a fence, but sometimes the landscaping doesn't cooperate if you plan.
Is this new landscaping that they put in?
You saw it.
Hi, Paul Morocco, Walden Woods, good evening to all. The plantings have been there for quite a few years.
Okay.
I've talked with the owner, and they're tall arborvitae's.
Oh, yeah.
He likes them outside, the back of that's a garden.
That we had, they ran once when you wanted to eliminate the sidewalk and...
Correct.
Right, so, yeah. Could you show me on your October plan, and you know, where not on the one, if you could flip it to the new plan that you just wrote?
Yes.
It's permitted for 4-foot sidewalks where? I mean, wait a minute, I think I might have a highlighter.
What it is that the cross-section
Right.
and the details are telling you what the width of the sidewalk is on the plan. So if you go to sheet 10 of 12, which the appears I have provided, this is a record plan.
Okay.
I have not produced a new plan, okay, showing these changed because I haven't got your approval yet.
Well, yeah, but you just stood up and said that for some of this, it's 4 foot, and then somewhere it changes to 5 foot, and that's what I want to know.
Excuse me if I may, Paul Morocco, Stenbeck Place is a 4-foot sidewalk that's been approved. Stenbeck Place, it's a 4-foot sidewalk, and then the beginning of Stenbeck to Rachel's Way, 5-foot sidewalk out to Tilton Road.
Okay, so Paul, so this whole Stenbeck is 4 foot?
Correct.
Yes.
And then through your project, all the way to Tilden
Correct.
is 5 foot?
Yeah.
Proposed 5 foot.
Okay,
I misspoke on that.
okay, you did.
The grass strip was not proposed along the stretch here because of its proximity, where are we? Right here.
Right.
It was, the grass strip was not originally proposed in this location here due to the proximity of the stone wall that
and also-
separated Grimes' property.
And also along here.
It's all 5 foot, he said.
Yes, but the grass strip is not shown. It's shown here. It's not shown here.
Where's the?
On the curve. Grass strip's that right there. This is on the original plan that he also provided us with the packet. So this is the original plan, the approved plan.
That's what
the
that
grass
is?
strip.
Oh, okay.
You can see the grass strip here, and you can see the grass strip around here. It's not shown here because of that stone wall, and coming around the curve, it wasn't included in the curve here previously. But it does pick up here after these 2 visitor parking spaces.
Okay.
And you referenced that in your presentation. These 2 parking spaces, which, those aren't visitors, those are on the house. So that's for this property, this one is here. These are the visitor lots.
Okay.
So he said until the visitor lots, it was no grass strip.
Got it.
From the visitor parking spaces all the way through, and including Stenbeck.
Okay.
As a grass strip, and that's what we're trying to avoid.
Okay. Well, that's what they're trying to
That's
avoid.
what they're asking to avoid because of
Okay.
the, well, in 2 cases.
So
In Stenbeck is because of the amount of taking of the land that the abutters to Stenbeck have utilized within the roadway layout.
Okay.
Existing approved over here with grass strip and 5 and then 4. The proposal for tonight is no grass strip 4 all the way through.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. With a 6-foot bituminous berm, not a 3 by 12 Cape Cod, which makes it more of a ramp versus a loaf berm, which would give it, for any traffic,
Let me ask your opinion as an engineer. The durability of the Cape Cod berm versus the 6-inch bituminous berm in terms of plowing and things. And I realize it's a private way and we plowed by you folks, but it would seem to me that...
Sound like you'd be comparing it one to the same thing.
No, the Cape Cod berm to the 6-inch fortuitous. I've seen Cape Cod berms disappear
Right.
after one winter.
Right.
And I'm guessing that the 6-inch is probably going to be more durable against a snowplow.
Yes, and one of the fears that I would have regarding just putting the sidewalk up against the Cape Cod berm would be if you hit a patch of ice and you start sliding, you can easily go over a Cape Cod berm. You may not as easily go over the 6-inch berm. You might give it a little bump and change the direction.
Where's the
sidewalk right there? It allows you to just
what was the berm that you had originally, because that you got, just for, I know, but for the benefit of anybody in town that's watching, we have comments from Kevin McCafferty from DPW, from the town hall here. He commented that Town of Scituate standard is a 5-foot sidewalk. ADA requires 5-foot sidewalk. 5-foot sidewalk, ADA requires 5-foot sidewalk. Town of Scituate standard is an 18-inch berm or granite curbing. Grass strip is not a town standard.
the standard, if you read the subdivision rules and regs, they call for subdivision roads to have the granite curb.
Okay, well, you're talking to someone, I don't know. I know what you showed me what you're proposing, and can you show me again then? I'm a little bit confused of what you're proposing.
That was the Cape Cod berm.
Cape Cod berm detail, the original
And
plan.
that's the proposed, what they're offering now. Again, this curve right there, as opposed to the slope coming right up.
I didn't get really very good, because it seems to me, so the difference between a Cape Cod berm and an 18-inch berm that the town standard is, I don't,
The question, if I may, Sarah, Paul Morocco, Walden Woods, what he's referring to is a granite curb. Granite curb is 18 inches high, 6 inches thick.
Most of
And
it,
therefore-
most of it's underground.
Correct. 90% of it's underground, you have 6 inch of exposure, and your sidewalk backs up to it.
I'm not asking, I'm not looking for, I'm not really interested in that, because we haven't asked you to do that, you haven't been
I
required to
just,
do that.
DPW prefers granite curbing.
I know, and
The
we can't make
planning
him go
board
back.
waives that requirement all the time.
And the planning board requires it
Yeah,
all the
the-
time.
No, waves it.
No, the
Waives it.
DPW, that's one of their, they want to see granite curbing, and, you know,
Right.
frankly, on a public way, it does make, you know, you're not busting up curbs and everything else. This is a private way. The other thing I want to say about that is that the town, we just voted to accept a public way at Evangeline Drive, which it does not have granite curbing, and that was built.
To me, the question is, a 6-inch berm that they're doing, or what they've been required, which is, which makes the most sense for, Ed really, I think, narrowed it down. One of the things that, I think Town Hall is concerned about is that these little 6-inch berms they're not very stable, and they're not very, that was
So
what
I
I
would-
understood,
I would-
as
yeah.
opposed to the one that's being proposed.
Did Kevin write something up?
Yeah, not much, give me the standards.
Sarah.
So I don't really understand the concept.
I'd have to say something, two things. First of
Yeah.
all, Bob Vogel is the ADA coordinator in town, and I asked him the question to look into it. I did not get a response from Bob. I was surprised to hear that might be an ADA requirement. I don't question that that's a requirement, where a sidewalk is required, for whatever purpose, but
I can tell you.
I think that's certainly, I think the question in front of the board is this a substantial change, one, all right? The second question in front of all of us is, if this is an ADA requirement, they're gonna have to do it. It's gonna have to be a 5-foot. So if we're going that route, perhaps we could make contingent on, finding that out. We apparently have sidewalks all over town that don't meet the ADA requirement, so.
I'm sure we do, but that doesn't mean we put something in that violates the ADA requirements. There's good reasons. It allows pedestrians, it allows, it's the
I
minimum.
think what Neil's saying,
Let me rephrase that.
we have
Let me
new
rephrase that.
sidewalks that
Well,
don't need it.
I think that's a problem.
When someone writes, when someone tells me something, okay, whether it be a layman or a lawyer or an architect or an engineer, or the fire chief, cite the code that requires it. Is that cited up there?
I can get you the site. I mean, I did a lot of research on this.
No, I can find the site.
Right.
I think Bob was looking into it.
Yeah.
He didn't get back to me. I'm not sure what it is, but I think what I'm saying, if it's 5 foot, board's hands are tied.
Right.
But I don't know of the site, and frankly, I enforce AAB, and I don't recall seeing that, and that's why I asked the question.
And that would be a requirement even on a private way.
Well, that's my
Public
question.
access.
That's
It's
my
called
question.
public access.
Well, but
It's public access, period. My office is a private building, but
Yeah.
I had to comply with all ADA requirements.
Right, but...
With respect to the size of
right, but
doors and
ADA
sidewalks.
as a business, there are separate standards for businesses and.
No,
Right.
not on ADA.
See, if
It's
you
a-
read ADA...
It's not an easy answer. I think
Yeah,
it
it's-
needs to
it's
be
not
looked
a-
into.
It's not a clear answer.
Yeah.
I'm not, without a citation there,
Right.
and having had the conversation, and it's kind of up in the air still, and I wish I had the answer for you tonight,
Right.
but I would ask for a site in the future, if you're going to sit there and quote the law, then you
Right.
need to cite the regulation. I just think
Well,
it's a matter of
I
practice.
can give it to you.
See,
It
there-
has nothing
I'll
to
give it
do
you.
with person, or it just
Right.
has to do with, I think it's a matter of practice.
Right. I mean, this is sort of, I mean, one of the ADA says is if for some reason a sidewalk needs to be less than 5 feet, you have to create passing zones. It's all about access. And for me, the issue of the sidewalk is really easy. I am not in favor of it. We are creating, I don't know, we're creating public access, and everybody should be able to use it safely. And if you create a sidewalk that is less than 5 feet, two wheelchairs can't pass, okay? You've got to have landing zones. I have less of an issue on the berm because I feel a little bit handicapped in terms of, no pun intended. I think, safety is an issue on the berm. Durability is an issue on a berm. And I feel we presented it to DPW, and I don't think they gave a very clear understanding why, except that this is the town standard, but why one is preferable over the other. So I'm not sure I have a strong opinion about that one way or the other. If this was a sidewalk that, I mean, it's a fairly closed area. The purpose of the grass strip, I'm sure you know, is separation of pedestrian traffic from the street traffic.
Right, thus the 6-inch curb adds to the
Right,
safety.
right.
I have a comment on your ADA issue as well.
Okay.
It has been my research of the ADA and the AAB standards that the access issue is for a facility to a public way or what have you. It was summed up by an architect to me, and I know him, this is hearsay, okay, that the theory of ADA is to get the handicapped person from a building to the street. There is and why sidewalks are kind of in a gray area along a street is because you have towns that have maximum slopes on sidewalks, on roadways, that would not meet ADA standards for grading for ramps. So what do? If you were to create a sidewalk, and I don't recall what the maximum grade would be to design a street in Scituate, but let's just throw out that it's 10%, which is more than the required percentage of a slope on a handicap ramp. So in order for the sidewalk on a road that's sloping down at 10% to comply with ADA, the sidewalk would have to have a railing, and it could not grade down at 1 and 12 for more than 30 feet until it's interrupted by a 5-foot by 5-foot landing. And that's why that's where I think the disconnect comes in when they're requesting that sidewalks comply with ADA, they're confusing the access from a facility, okay, to the roadway, and adding that a public roadway is a facility. I have made phone calls to people at AAB and ADA, and they don't agree with the assessment that a roadway is a public facility. The theory behind ADA is to get the handicapped person from the building to the street.
Well, I respectfully disagree.
I just want to, I'd like to add something to this, because this has nothing to do whether I think they should have a 4-foot sidewalk or a 5-foot sidewalk. This has everything to do with the determination of, our interpretation of the ADA is not before this board. And I think we have an opinion from a person without a citation that this is required. And I've been personally involved in, not disputes, but heated discussions about people, how come we don't have this, how come, I will say one thing, if it's required to be ADA compliant, and the slope up there is over 1 and 12, you need railings on the sidewalk. So we're getting into an area, I think, where if we're going to base our opinion on what is required by ADA, I would just simply ask that the board get a second opinion, get a citation, ask the ADA coordinator. I mean, we'd have to grant these guys an extension, but if that's what it's being hinged on, that's all I'm asking.
I'm hinging on, I think that they've been permitted for a 5-foot sidewalk. I am not willing to give them relief from that.
Hopefully not because it's not ADA compliant, because...
I think there's a lot of reasons...
I'm not so sure that's a fact.
There are a lot of reasons why, if you look at why the 5-foot sidewalk is there, I think 5-foot sidewalk is there for, you know, I could write a term paper on it if the applicant desires. But I feel strongly, I'm surprised to see that Stanbrook Pace is only a 4-foot. I can't change that, you know. I personally would not, I would push as hard as I could if we get another project before us to make sure they're 5-foot sidewalks. I don't think we reduce the side of the sidewalk. I don't really have a strong opinion one way or the other of the berm and curbing issue. And the grass strip, under the circumstances, as it's not a throughway, it certainly puts the pedestrians that much closer to the street. If you then further reduce the sidewalk, you know, the sort of general thought is that people tend to walk in the center sidewalks. You're putting them closer to the street. I really, again, the berm is not an issue for me. I don't really think the grass strip is an issue for me. I'd like to see the sidewalk stay 5-foot, and that's my personal opinion. I don't know what the other board members think. And, you know, if there's a stalemate on that, maybe we're going to have to bring it back for a full, you know, a full hearing on it and give everybody notice and bring everybody to town.
If I may.
You may.
Yes. We are planning to pave in 2 weeks to do the final coat. With all the buildings are built, landscape issues about done. 6 of the affordable units are now lived in. We have 1 more to go, which is
That's awesome.
We have 5 left to sell. I am willing, if the board would agree, to remove the grass strip. I will put on the 6-inch berm, bituminous berm, along the sidewalk only, and I will do a 5-foot sidewalk within Walden Woods, and remain Stenbeck to be 6-inch bituminous berm with a 4-foot sidewalk. I would accept that.
Okay.
I think what he's also stated with there is the asphalt plants close in the next 3 or 4 weeks. So if he doesn't get this done...
Only a contractor would know
well, if he
that.
doesn't get this done, you know, you're into next year and you spend the winter with nothing there and more of a...
Exactly.
Yes.
So 1 foot of curb, 1,500 feet, well, it is what it is. I mean,
Yeah. Well, I just think it's, you know, to create a situation in, which is a very nice development already, to make it as accessible to all of the citizens coming through. It's not just for people to get the harbor. You've got people in your facility. I just think the 5-foot is preferable by far, and accessibility is kind of a big deal for me, and I think it's important.
As it is for me, Sarah, it also is a big deal of applying the law properly. Just, you know, with all due respect.
I think that's something that needs to be very clear here. The idea of 5-foot sidewalks for comfort and ease of the pedestrian and the safety of the pedestrian passage is absolutely reasonable, and I think everyone's on board with that. I don't think anyone's trying to say that we have to be taking shortcuts with respect to ADA. However, it's clear in my mind that if you applied ADA to every paved surface on the face of the earth, it would be impossible to meet the expectations. A sidewalk along a traveled way is different from a sidewalk from a parking area into a building, or from one parking area to another parking area which accesses a building. I mean, there's lots of, and I think that's where the confusion is, and that's, I think Neil's correct to point it out, and I think his concern is that the DPW's letter
I just say, if we're going to make a
there's
decision based on law, right, and you're saying exactly what I'm saying, that we have to know the law.
The letter is,
I think the lawyers are agreeing.
the letter is suggestive of something that may not be a fact.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now we don't have to deal with it.
Right. So
Well,
That's good.
you know, I also respectfully disagree that accessibility for people is not just between the curb and the door of a building.
It's how they word it, facility.
But
It's how they word it. It's right in the preamble.
Probably not.
But I think it is important in our discussion here that we're deciding that the 5-foot walkway is necessary in order to comply with ADA. No,
We're just simply saying, no, I don't disagree with
That
that.
fact is not before us, and
No.
we don't want to suggest it is before us, and perhaps set a precedent for someone in the future that all sidewalks in the town of Scituate have to be compliant with
My
ADA.
only, thank you.
You know,
So that,
Save that for another day.
that leads us to.
we're talking about a new road here, and I'm glad and I'm thankful that
is
Mr.
not, they're
Baraka
not, it's
is
irrelevant
going
whether
with.
it's a new road, an old road, or anything else.
No, it's not
Sidewalks in
irrelevant.
the town of Scituate,
It's not irrelevant at all.
it is completely irrelevant, because if you're going to, I'm saying as a member of this board, that I cannot agree with you that a sidewalk along a traveled way must be compliant with ADA. That's not
Well-
before me. There is a letter that references that concept from the DPW, which has been called into question by 3 people in this room. And
What do you mean called into question? It came from the DPW. Is there a
But-
question about that?
No, it came from the DPW, but does not cite the law that substantiates that fact.
He just
And-
cites that standard in the town of Scituate. That's all he said.
I'm sorry, Madam Chairman, I'm not trying to be argumentative. He says, or you've suggested, that this has to be 5-foot wide in order to be compliant with ADA. I will not vote on this issue if that's the statement that's being made by this board, because I do not...
What does it matter? It's not an issue, one way or the other.
I'm-
They are permitted for 5 foot. They've asked to cut it down.
It is an issue, because I'm simply suggesting, and I want it on the record,
Put it on the record.
that the 5-foot wide sidewalk is what you were agreed to when you had the special permit before us. The curbing and the grass strip were on the original plan. You're asking to remove the grass strip, sidewalk that's closer to the street. As a concession to that, you're putting in a 6-inch bituminous curb, which is not a 18-inch granite curb, which is same amount of exposed curb, but the granite curb, I understand from the town's perspective, is much more durable against plows, et cetera, but this is a private way. So I appreciate that you're improving the curb in order to offset the loss of the grass strip. And you've agreed to stay with the 5-foot wide sidewalk.
Yes.
Which I believe makes this a non-substantial change. which we can vote on here without reopening the...
Oh, no, we have to say something, because they've asked for, unless you withdraw the request for a 4-foot curb, because if we don't make a, I think if we allow you to, if we don't do anything, you're going to get everything you want, and you've asked for a 4-foot, you've asked for a 4-foot curb, so I think what you have to do...
I think if 4-foot sidewalk.
4-foot, yeah, I'm sorry, 4-foot curb, whatever. I think what you have to do is formally, withdraw the request to reduce the sidewalk.
Can I do it verbally on the record?
I suppose.
Well, I think there's still some changes in the plan that we don't...
No, because if we don't do, in a 40B, if we determine they're not substantial, we don't have to do anything. That's what the regs say.
But the request before us was modified here in the hearing. So the request before us now is to maintain the 5-foot sidewalk as permitted, to remove the 6-inch, or the
Grass strip. 2-foot grass strip.
And to modify the, to be an 6-inch bituminous.
Yeah, bituminous.
3 requests previously, now only 2
Only
requests.
2. That's what I just want to
And-
confirm.
I think what we can find today is that the 2 requests now before us, loss of the grass strip and the change in the berm structure,
Yes.
are not a substantial change, and therefore we can act on them tonight.
Well, it's, the law says if the change is determined to be insubstantial, comprehensive permit shall be deemed to modify, so we don't have to do anything. Okay. And it's clear that the 4-foot is...
I'll make a motion that a change in the...
You don't do a motion. You don't do anything.
We have to deem it to be
Insubstantial.
I think we have to have a
Or you could fail
vote
to
that
do
says
nothing.
that.
No, you can do nothing, basically.
If you do nothing, he gets constructive approval, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, but
That's
he
what
gets
I'm saying.
constructive approval.
Of the whole
Constructive
thing.
approval is this.
Right.
So you want to...
We wanna do
Make sure you
something.
put in there that...
A finding that the 2 requests that the
Yeah.
applicant
Yeah, I think you need
maintains
to make...
are not substantial.
Yes.
And that the other one is.
We need a motion.
Yeah, and basically denying the 3rd request, it sounds like would be the resolution.
No, I think he's withdrawing the 3rd
I
request.
withdraw my request for a 4-foot sidewalk.
Okay. And we should probably just formally move to accept the request.
Right.
And I agree, if it's okay with the board, to do a 6-inch bituminous burn along with the sidewalk removing, a 5-foot sidewalk removing the grass strip.
Right.
So I think it is important that we have...
Could he just write on the request that he withdrew and...
Yeah, and sign it,
And
yeah.
then sign it, Paul?
That's just yeah.
Do that.
So that still leaves us with the question, do we vote it as insubstantial?
If you want to vote anything, I think we vote that it's insubstantial.
Right, that way we
Period.
think that
And that's all we
made a
need to do.
decision.
But that's
I think that's a
what I
way.
was asking, and I think it's also important, though, that we approve the change in the request. Because that's, what was published, what's out there, says that there are 3 requests for change.
Yeah.
What we've discussed is 3 requests for change. We need to recognize in this meeting that that request has been modified, we accept the modification, and that we find that a modified request is not substantial.
If I may take a stab at a motion? Is it too early for that?
Yep.
Motion to accept the applicant's modification to remove the request for the reduction in width of the sidewalk, and motion to find that the change to the 6-inch bituminous berm and the removal of the grass strip is not a substantial change.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
I can write something up. I don't think it needs to be written up, but I wrote something up the last time we had one of these. I talked to town council about it, so it's required.
Thank you, everybody. I hope my demeanor was not too combative. It certainly did not.
You were terrible.
meant-
Please don't come back. Unless you have another insubstantial change that we can all agree upon. Well, and so it's very nearly done.
Congratulations.
Sold. That's excellent.
Thank
It
you
only
all
took,
very,
it only
very
took
much.
how many years on this one?
Right now, we're going on 2 years, we're 2 years in
2? That's it?
August, September,
Yeah,
October.
Well, when they got the bill.
We've been building for 2 years.
But the original permit was when?
2002. Ooh.
See, I'm telling you, these are taking forever. Who wants to do one? God bless you for doing it.
You got it. He might have.
You know, nobody wants to do these. They take too damn long. I couldn't stand it.
Thank you, have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
You too.
as well.
Thanks, Paul.
Nice Thanksgiving.
Now we have Stockbridge Road.
No, we don't. I don't even know what's up on Stockbridge. Do we have something on Stockbridge?
Yes, we do. Comprehensive permit.
What's that?
We do. You're in, I thought you were with these guys. Why did I think?
No, we're, it's the extension of the permit.
Oh, this isn't, this is not Walter's.
No.
That's what I was all confused
No,
about.
no. You know,
This is the
that was
other
a-
end.
That was a poll petition.
That was what?
Putting they're putting in a, 2 utility poles, and they're going across Affordable Housing Trust land. They're
Yeah.
actually paralleling their driveways, so they
Yes.
had to get.
They made the
a grant.
common
I don't know how they
driveway.
sent it to the board.
I just never understand what they want us to do.
Put in 2 poles.
No, I know, but I don't know what we're supposed to be doing.
Nothing.
Okay, good. That sounds good
Just
to
read the
me.
information.
I don't know why he sent you a copy.
And, okay, that's what I'm confused about constantly,
Yeah.
is that I keep thinking I have to do something.
They may need a poll petition through the town, but I put that on my.
Pole position?
Yeah, there's a process to put poles
Really?
in, I think on public way, so this is on a private way, so.
Hopefully you don't have anything that
I have a letter to my
No,
wiring.
no poles, no sidewalks.
But if they are, you're gonna make them 5 foot, right?
Yeah, I'm here for, my name is Don Nagel, I'm here for Stockbridge Realty Trust, which also is a 40B project. And I'm here just to request an extension of the permit due to some delays related to a change in stormwater management features of the project that was required under one of the amended conditions to the 40B. So we've gone through that. We were before this board
While ago.
several months ago, maybe not 6 months, but several months ago, in which the board agreed to incorporate basically approve the redesigned stormwater plan. So that took a while to get through. The kind of layered on top of that was a Concom appeal of a previous change to the project. We worked through that as well.
So that's resolved.
Well, we have, with the stormwater changes, we worked closely with the consulting engineer for this board, as well as the Conservation Commission. And so we all kind of collaborated, agreed that these changes were acceptable, and the next step on that is to go to DEP, incorporate it into a settlement agreement, and have DEP issue an amended order of conditions. So there's a lot of, there's a lot of regulatory work on this, and it takes time.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm here, to request an extension of the comprehensive permit, and in my letter to the board, it includes a discussion that this would be an insubstantial change. So I would request that the board vote that simply extending the timeline for the permit to keep it live is an insubstantial change, and approve the extension accordingly.
And what time for, how much extension would you like?
I think it's 3 years, but let me just double check. Right, it's a 3-year.
You're asking for a 3-year extension?
Correct.
Okay. Let me just ask you a question. Has any of the
Site work.
structure, yeah, what do you call it?
Site work.
Well, the site work's being worked on. Site work is all that other stuff. I like to see buildings. Do we have any buildings yet?
We're getting there.
Now without a building permit.
Oh, they haven't even got there yet. Okay.
But there was, the site work was really, it was a two-step process according to the order of conditions that was issued many moons ago. And the first step was done, and after that was done, we went in and did soil testing, which really determined what the stormwater management system would be. So the next step really is to get the settlement document in front of DEP and the town, and get it finalized, put it before DEP. After DEP issues its final order, the next step is to go to Neil's office and get the construction plans approved.
Now, can you just remind us and anybody in the, that's watching on TV, how many units on this project?
Okay, without
If any of us remember?
reading,
Were there?
90 units.
Yeah, 96.
I might be a little off. It's changed a few over time, but 90 is, I think, what the number is.
And they're all going to be rentals, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. With the train, that's going to be pretty good, I would think.
Right.
Well, I hope you get them built before, while I'm still alive. You start to say that kind of stuff.
Yeah, this has been going on for quite a while.
Yeah.
And you're right. I think there is a sidewalk all the way up Stockbridge to the train station, so that should be a great addition to the town.
Absolutely.
To have, this kind of housing.
Yeah. Okay.
And also just the stormwater management has also addressed the stormwater coming off the
You
buildings
could
and stuff.
take a canoe right down to the tributary and get on the train from there.
Yeah.
Down to the reservoir.
Except the old dump is in the way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not fun.
Yeah, you gotta go around the old dump.
Right.
Yeah.
But they say that addresses all the buildings in the stormwater.
Absolutely.
So that's all.
Exhaust.
So you need that in place to get your building permit to.
That's right.
To move forward.
Yeah.
Well, I think you never really understand how involved these projects are until you're really in the middle of them. And so I really do have admiration for the developers who stick this out and keep writing checks for all these years to, see these projects to completion. It's good.
Yeah, I mean, this has gone through, I think, a couple of recessions, some serious ones, so.
Hopefully we'll have another one. Get this
There's
done
not
before that's
another
done.
No, we predict good things.
That right.
Move that the board find that the request for a 3-year extension is not a substantial change to the comprehensive permit, and further to grant the 3-year extension as requested by the applicant.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Great. Thank you all very much.
Well, thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Appreciate your.
You probably need something in writing for that too, for maybe some of your.
Yes.
And you draft something?
You know why I like to see things in writing?
I could imagine.
Because these projects are 10, 15 years old, and
Yeah.
when we look at them historically,
Yeah.
there may be another building inspector, who knows, 2 years down the
No
road,
way.
3 years
Right.
down the road, and you say, wait a minute, this is expired, and then
Right,
it goes through a whole, maybe different attorneys, it's just much better to put something in the file.
I can write that one.
Oh, I can just do it.
Thanks, buddy.
Oh, no, I'll get to do it. I'll do it at the same time I do the other one. There's like
Jump right on
3
there.
sentences.
That's all it is, really.
Yeah, literally.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your hard work.
Okay.
Annie, can you send her a copy of the transcript of those sentences?
Yeah, 3 sentences.
You wanna-
I've never
you wanna
written
vote
anything
on
in 3
the,
sentences, except
minutes?
I quit. Yeah, we have minutes.
I
Danny?
sent some edits around, I apologize, it
Yes.
was so late. I don't know if anybody got a
red
I
chance.
know, I just keep
saw 'em.
thinking I want you to write all my briefs.
out left.
They're so
I'm
attentive to
coming.
detail.
They were mostly stylistic.
Got dinner?
I know.
Yeah.
But they were good. Very good.
Grammar,
Accept the
maybe.
minutes from-
I amended the minutes from September.
Yep.
Move to accept the minutes as amended.
Of October 15th.
September 15th? October 15th.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
September's minutes I amended,
Yes.
and then October minutes.
Nobody.
Okay,
Yeah.
and accept the amended minutes of September.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
And those amendments took into Frank's red line. Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
I have just one matter, too. Can I bring this up? It's not on the agenda. I think so, it's budget related. You sent me that stuff. I didn't know if, you said, what?
Yeah, okay, go ahead. It's not on the agenda, you're correct.
Oh, we can't, so we can't
Yeah,
really talk about it.
I don't think this was.
Never mind.
Can we move to put it on next month's agenda?
No,
No? Okay.
no, it'll be passed. It'll be over. I'll just talk to Neil, and we'll decide it.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
I think that's good.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.